Welcome back to High Stakes. Today, we will be discussing the following NCAAF matches that is happening on Saturday, October 21st, 2023. We will be providing our team, total, and prop picks for the day. Before we get started, please remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. If you want access to our premium picks, you can check out our Patreon page. You can find the link to our Patreon page in the description and comment section below. Pittsburgh versus Wake Forest. The most recent encounter between these two teams took place in the 2021 ACC Championship game, in which Pitt emerged victorious with a score of 45-21, held in Charlotte. Their initial meeting occurred back in 2018 in Winston-Salem, making this upcoming match the third meeting in North Carolina between these schools. In ACC play, Wake Forest has been outscored, with a tally of 44-77, while Pitt, although also having been outscored, managed to put up a total of 83 points in ACC matchups. Moreover, Pitt's recent win is a significant factor to consider. If it had been a close victory, it could be seen as a fluke, but their performance against Louisville in the last game indicated that they may have discovered something that could alter the course of their season. If they can once again rally behind their newly promoted sophomore quarterback, Velos, they have a good chance of leaving North Carolina with another victory. Consider choosing the Panthers with the points. The previous two encounters between these teams have both seen the under hitting, although the lowest total points in either of those games was 62.5. In reality, the games had an average combined score of 56.5 points, making this current total certainly achievable. There is a particular concern regarding Wake Forest's offense, which has experienced a significant decline over the last 3 weeks. However, Pitt's defense, in terms of points allowed, ranks 11th in the ACC, indicating that the Deacons should be capable of putting up points in this game. Additionally, the Panthers appeared rejuvenated in their recent game behind Velos, and they are undoubtedly eager to maintain that momentum. Facing a vulnerable passing defense, they have a great opportunity to exploit it by throwing the ball frequently in the first half, getting them closer to the over. Notably, the over has hit in 5 out of 6 Panthers games this season. Next we have, consider taking the over. Oklahoma State versus West Virginia. I strongly favor West Virginia in this scenario, as they recently found themselves in a buy-high situation, much like the one Oklahoma State faces this week. Prior to their game against Houston, the Mountaineers had secured 2 consecutive wins as underdogs with impressive displays by their defense, and suddenly they were the ones laying points on the road. This situation closely resembles Oklahoma State's current predicament, coming off 2 consecutive underdog victories and being favored by fewer points than they should be. Moreover, when teams experience a heartbreaking last-second loss, it can be challenging to rebound. However, West Virginia's situation is somewhat easier to handle, as that loss didn't dash their hopes of winning a conference title or making it to the college football playoffs. This season, West Virginia was never a contender for those titles, so after a full week to reflect on last week's ending, I fully anticipate the Mountaineers' defense being eager and motivated to demonstrate their prowess and assert their physical dominance. It is this defensive unit that I believe will stifle the Oklahoma State offense, especially since the Cowboys are coming off their highest point production of the year, 39. This serves as another reason for me to be cautious about the Cowboys this week. I recommend betting on West Virginia. In 8 out of the last 10 head-to-head meetings between these two teams, the games have concluded with a total score staying below the set threshold, and considering Oklahoma State's recent season-high point performance, I have no reservations about betting on a significant regression for their offense. This regression should ultimately contribute to the under trend continuing in this rivalry, making it the 5th consecutive time. West Virginia's defense allowed a season-high of 41 points in their loss to Houston, which suggests that some positive regression is likely on their side. Moreover, with no particular reason to fear Oklahoma State's offensive prowess, it's reasonable to expect West Virginia's average of 23.8 opponent points per game to decrease once more. The last 4 meetings between these teams have all failed to surpass a total of 43 points, and I don't anticipate this game deviating significantly from that pattern. With the total hovering around 50 points, we have a comfortable margin for this underplay. Consider taking the under. Next we have South Florida, USF, versus Connecticut, UConn. Regrettably for UConn's students, their homecoming festivities are set to be marred by rain. Forecasts indicate that showers and thunderstorms will commence on Friday night and persist until Sunday morning, making for a soggy game day. Fortunately, there's no anticipation of significant wind playing a role in the game. Both UConn and USF have roots in the renowned Big East Football Conference from the past. This season, the two teams share certain similarities, most notably struggling with losing records. In both cases, the losing records can be attributed to porous defenses that have led to a negative point differential. USF has allowed an average of 455 yards per game this season, while UConn has given up 389 yards per game. Notably, UConn has demonstrated some ability in defending against the rush, permitting only 138 yards per game. USF's offense, led by dual-threat quarterback Byron Brown, will likely test this aspect of UConn's defense. However, UConn has faced several quarterbacks in their recent games who possess strong rushing abilities, such as Duke's Riley Leonard and Utah State's Cooper Legas. Impressively, UConn managed to hold Leonard to just 30 rushing yards. Furthermore, in a closely contested game that UConn lost 34-33 due to a failed extra point kick as time expired, they limited Utah State's Legas to 26 rushing yards. On the other hand, Byron Brown has demonstrated his rushing prowess against strong defenses, as seen in his performance against Alabama in the rain, where he rushed for 92 yards on 23 attempts, although the Bulls only scored 3 points on that occasion. UConn's quarterback Taquan Roberson appears to have gained confidence and comfort in running the Huskies' offense. This was evident in their recent game against Rice, where he efficiently completed 79% of his passes and avoided turnovers, resulting in a 38-31 victory for UConn. Notably, both UConn and USF managed to defeat Rice earlier this season. In those games, Rice exposed vulnerabilities in both teams' pass defenses, throwing for 362 yards against UConn and an impressive 491 yards against USF. In this rainy and messy game, expect to see a rush-heavy offense from the Bulls and a UConn offense that combines rushing with short passes. UConn, similar to their previous matchups against Duke and Utah State, should be able to contain Brown to some extent and capitalize on turnovers. Offensively, the Huskies will heavily utilize their primary receiver, 6'3" hybrid tight end Justin Joly, building on his recent performance of 7 receptions for 96 yards and 1 touchdown. Despite the rainy conditions, there should still be a decent amount of scoring in this game, albeit likely lower than both teams' averages. Coach Mora Jr. is expected to use his experience to devise an effective game plan for the Huskies' offense on their home field. While USF has claimed victory in the last 8 matchups against Connecticut, it's essential to note that the most recent game between these two occurred more than 4 years ago. This is a new era for USF football as they strive to regain their past dominance. Despite their recent road victory against Navy, USF had previously endured a 19-game road losing streak. Therefore, taking the points with UConn at home seems like a favorable choice as they build on their recent success and pursue their second win of the season. Consider UConn plus 2.5. The weather conditions in Hartford, Connecticut, are poised to have a significant impact on the upcoming game, affecting turnovers, missed receptions, and potential slips in the backfield. As a result, it's highly likely that the game will feature lower scoring. USF previously played in adverse weather conditions in a messy game against Alabama earlier this year, where they struggled to reach the end zone, only managing to score 3 points. Both teams have displayed lower offensive efficiency this season, with third down conversion rates hovering around 37%, resulting in numerous stalled drives. These factors indicate a decreased scoring output for both teams. In fact, when you consider their combined average score per game, it totals 48 points, significantly below the set total. Furthermore, South Florida is led by a redshirt freshman quarterback who, while exciting, is still in the process of finding his rhythm within the Bulls' offense. Additionally, UConn, a team that relies heavily on their passing game, will need to shift their focus more towards their running game due to the inclement weather. These factors collectively suggest that scoring between the two teams will be limited. In terms of line value, it's worth noting that in the recent 4 games for South Florida and the last 3 games for UConn, the total points scored exceeded the set total. Consequently, the total for this game may be inflated. Taking these factors into account, there's a strong case for betting on the under, especially since the weather conditions are likely to drive the closing line even lower. Consider taking the under at 55. Next we have Central Michigan, CMU, versus Ball State. In this matchup, Central Michigan emerges as the team to watch, and the statistics provide compelling support for this claim. They maintain an average of 335.9 total yards per game, while Ball State lags behind with 287.9. The Chippewas have also been bolstered by their recent 17-10 victory over Akron, underscoring their resilience and well-rounded offensive approach. Conversely, Ball State is coming off a 13-6 loss to Toledo and is burdened with a lengthy injury list that could impede their performance. Given these circumstances, in conjunction with Central Michigan's superior statistics in both rushing and receiving yards, the Chippewas are well poised to cover the spread and secure a victory. Consider taking Central Michigan with a -7.5-point spread. Both teams have demonstrated offensive prowess, with Central Michigan averaging 335.9 total yards per game and Ball State trailing slightly at 287.9. While both defenses have had their moments, they've also shown vulnerabilities, with Central Michigan allowing 214 points and Ball State allowing 215. Add to this the injuries affecting key defensive players on both sides, and you have a recipe for a high-scoring game. Given these stats and circumstances, the smart money is on the game going over the projected total. Take the over. We appreciate your viewership. Remember to hit the subscribe button for our channel and activate the notification bell to stay updated with our daily selections.